Go.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Before we start, are you comfortable with this session being recorded?
Yes.
Okay, good. And you okay with me taking some notes?
Of course.
Okay, great. So during our last session, we talked about how you just started this new job at a law firm, and you were really excited when you first started, but you've been having some challenges. It's not as enjoyable as you had hoped it would be. You're kind of disappointed because you just got out of grad school and you're really excited first job. Is it the same? Is it the same situation, or has it gotten any better? Just tell me how that's going.
It hadn't gotten any better. It's pretty much the same. It's a lot going on. I have some concerns with some of the people at my job, some of the things they do. I'm just like, do you really have to do all that? And then I also overthink stuff, so I'm just like, maybe it's not as bad as what I think it is initially. So yeah.
Okay. See some situations with your coworkers. Any specific situation that comes to mind?
Yes. There was this one situation where I went to the break room, right?
Yeah.
And this coworker of mine, he's he could be kind of flirtatious at times, which I have no problem with that, because some people like take it out of proportion and blow it way out of proportion, like like sexual harassment or whatever.
Yeah.
It really wasn't that. So I just be kind of chilling, but there's like some things that he kind of does that is more than just words. He kind of some actions. I'm just like, all right, this can kind of be on the verge of doing a little too much, like certain ways that he may hug me, or
that's difficult,
or if his hand may like rest. I feel like it's just not like appropriate for the job place.
Oh no. Is anyone else in the office aware of that, or like any other coworkers, or?
I don't know if anybody's noticed it other than me.
What about your boss? Does your boss?
I hadn't told anybody about it. So, yeah. I hadn't. That's the boss. That's a whole nother thing.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a whole nother situation right there.
Okay, let's pause. It seems like there might be something there with the boss. You guys like not get along that well, or?
We can be cordial with each other, but I feel like there's some things where I wonder if he kind of discriminates against me a little bit. Like I'm the only black person there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the minority, and then also one of very few females. So it's just kind of like a double whammy right there. So I don't know if.
So you feel like an outsider.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in. I've actually been in a situation similar to that when I was in middle school. I was the only black one there.
Wow.
The rest were white. So it's not like it was a horrible, painful situation, but sometimes I felt like I couldn't relate to them properly, and they couldn't relate to me properly. So I think I understand what you're going through.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Jumping back to your coworker, that is a really difficult situation. Have you thought about any solutions or anything you can maybe try for that situation?
I hadn't thought about it too much, because I'm just kind of one that just kind of, I'm like, because I feel like I might be overthinking it, I'll just be like, oh, it may not be that big of a deal. So I just kind of let it pass by, just kind of let it slide, Yeah, because I'm not one for all the drama. I'm just trying to keep everything chill, peaceful, a good environment. I don't want any tension or anything like that,
Okay. So what I think I hear you saying is that you feel that you would be causing other people problems and, stressing yourself out more, stressing other people out more. And it's weighing on you.
It is.
You feel weighed down, but you just don't want to worry everybody. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's also almost to the point where I'm just kind of like, it just worries me, and so when I worry, it just kind of affects me sometimes in my work and me producing what I need to do and handle cases the way they need to be handled. You know, like I feel like I haven't been able to put my full 100% in.
Okay. Has anything like this happened to you in your past?
Actually, it has. It has. I hadn't thought about it, but now that you asked me about that, my uncle, he did some stuff that it was not necessary at all. When I was younger, it happened when I was 15, actually.
Oh no.
So,
yeah. That's a difficult situation. And have you ever thought of what you could do about that? Like maybe.
I hadn't. Again, like I just kind of. It happened like a couple times, like the inappropriate things that he did. It just happened like a couple times. Like the first time, I was like, all right, well, it caught me off guard, and so then I was just like, oh, certainly not, whatever. Then it happened a second time, and I was like, wait a minute, he's tripping. Like he was tripping the first time, but like I was like the second time, like wait. And so then I was like, oh, if it happens a third time, then I'll do something. But it hadn't happened a third time. We're 10 years later.
So does it seem resolved to you in your mind and in your heart, like the situation that it's just?
If I'm honest, no.
No? Okay. Do you see any similarities between that situation and the situation happening with your coworker? And do you think that maybe there's a possibility that your situation from your past is affecting your current situation?
When you say that, I when I think about it, I can see some similarities. Like both situations, I'm just kind of letting it slide or whatever when I really should be confronting the issue head on, and I'm not. So I can see that similarity. And both times are just like worried about causing a scene or making too much of a big deal when it may not have been too much of a big deal, but down in my heart I feel like it was inappropriate, so I should bring something about it.
Yeah. So what are some ideas we could come up with that maybe you could try that would be a solution to this problem?
Well, I mean, there's always the option, I guess, of trying to go to my uncle straight up with him and talk about it, but then there's also the option of just reporting it to the police, you know?
Oh yeah, those are two options. Let's look at what could happen if you did that. Let's look at talking to your uncle. What are some positive consequences that can happen? And what are some negative consequences that can happen with talking to your uncle?
Okay, well, I guess the positive consequences of talking with him would be he might let me think. Like the positive consequences, I would say that he might receive it well and then apologize for it. But then a negative consequence could be that he could explode and threaten me with all kinds of stuff like, oh, I'll go tell, or like you if you go tell, then you know I'm gonna do this or that to you, or I'll just make your life a living.
Yeah. Well, this is some stuff to think about. I think we should take a pause here and just, that seems like you've got a lot, to think about. So, we talked about, different situations going on in the office and your coworker and how that's similar to an event from your past, and how you're open to the idea of talking to your uncle, but there's two consequences that could, come to play. So, thank you. Thank you for coming.
All right, I appreciate you.
Okay. Yeah.